Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Curiosity Box, and this is another autism education video, and this is all about synesthesia. Now this is a question from @KizzyWiggleboo on Twitter. Question: do you have synesthesia? If yes, can you explain it? So I did a little bit of research and looked up some information about synesthesia, and the one I can confirm is spatial sequence synesthesia, regarding the days of the week and the months of the year and the decades, but I lost my chart because I made charts on them which are somewhere on my blog. So there's also one called misophonia, which is a angry or disgusted response to specific sounds. Now, I don't know if that relates to being angry at somebody snoring. So I get angry at really loud motorbikes because they're really loud and they hurt my ears. So I don't really understand what they are trying to say with the misophonia, because some sounds just are physically painful, which is why I get angry at some sounds. So, and then there is mirror touch, which is feeling the same touch as someone else. So if somebody does this, if you feel a finger on your chin too, then that is mirror touch synesthesia. Now, it's really hard to answer these questions because obviously you'd have to inhabit the brain of somebody who has got these synesthesia responses, so it's really hard to answer it from the outside perspective. But I don't think I have that one. But I can create in my mind textures and tastes. So within my mind I can consciously copy the texture on a TV show. If somebody's holding silk or wool, then I can create the feeling of that in my mind. The feeling doesn't come onto my skin where it would be, it's within my skull. So I can create it consciously in my mind, mirror touch, but it's not automatic and I don't feel it direct on the parts of my skin. It's just retained within my skull. And tastes, I can consciously affect taste and eating cakes and the textures, but it's within my skull. It's not automatically felt on the tongue or on the teeth. It's sort of an inner brain response rather than an outer nervous response, I guess. And it's fun. I think maybe that could relate to my lucid dreaming as well, because I can fly in lucid dreams and very consciously fly and say, I'm going to do this now, or this scene is going to change, or oh, that might happen, so I'm going to change that bit. I'm very strong at doing that within my dream world, which can be very vivid. So I don't know if that relates to creating the sensations in my mind in my waking world. There's another synesthesia called auditory tactile, and it's that certain sounds can induce sensations in parts of the body. Now, I'm assuming like if someone says a word, it feels like you're actually being touched. Say they say a word and it feels like somebody's touching you on the leg. I assume they mean that, but it also sparked off in me. I thought that auditory is that the same as ASMR or not? Because some people get an ASMR response and some people don't. So I was wondering if that's related to synesthesia. But I think it's just, I don't think it is, because I think that'd just be like a nervous system response because of whispers in your ear. Maybe that's just a nervous system response. But there was one time, and it was really weird, and I was sat on the sofa in our old house and my grandpa had died, and I was just sat on the sofa and I think Mum was talking about him or something, and I felt a finger poke me in the side. And it was like a proper feeling like a finger poking you in the side, and it was really weird. And then another time I've hallucinated really strongly. Well, I hallucinated that there was a thumb under my pillow when I was little, and it was a human thumb, a male human thumb, and it was poking out, and it was so clear, and I was terrified until Mum came in, lifted the pillow up, and there was nothing there. And then also at the same time there was a ghost in stripy pyjamas hovering next to my bed. So I seem to be very good at sort of like creating hallucinatory states within my dream world, which obviously is already a hallucinatory state, and by creating things like textures and seeing like things on the TV and actually transporting the texture or the feeling of something, transporting it into my own brain, which can be good for like cakes and things. But that takes a lot of like sort of conscious will and effort. It's not automatic, so I don't think that's an example of synesthesia necessarily, but obviously I don't know. There's the common one, which is seeing different words or numbers have certain colours, and I don't get that because I don't think I have that one, because I read that people actually see the colours in their visual periphery. I don't automatically see colours for words, so. And there's the music with colours. I don't get that. Like when I do listen to music, I can think of all the points of the music jumping about but that's just because it's like the music, like different notes. So I don't think that's synesthesia. So regarding my spatial synesthesia, I'm now going to do a demonstration of the days of the week and the months of the year, and I don't know if I have the one for the decades, because I started it, obviously if you can sort of imagine yourself in my position here, the 1900s all the way down there, well not all the way down there, and then they're like sort of a straight line, and then next to them is sort of the teens, and I guess they sort of, there's the Titanic bit when Titanic happened, and then it's sort of like, I don't know, it sort of jumps a gap and continues through the teens, and then the 30s, I don't know if there's particularly strong synesthetic response. All the cavemen are down there. Hi caveman. So all the cavemen are right down there. Anyway, and the Poldark novels. This is the 1700s. Got the 1700s, and then they go into the 1800s. So they're like an angle, 45-degree angle. So we were on the 1930s. I've forgotten what they do, but the the dotted pages go like this, then they go like that, and then there was in the middle there, and then there's the 50s, and then it's the 60s sort of curving round, coming up, and then it's the 70s. So these decades that are closer to when I was born are easier to see the formation of. So it's the 70s, like that, and then it turns this corner, it goes into the 80s, and then the 90s is up here, and that goes into the noughties, which is sort of at an angle coming up, and then 2015 is about here, so this sat here at the moment, I'm not totally sure, and 26, I'm not totally sure if we're going to go off that way or carry on forwards, I am not sure yet, because obviously I'm in 2015, I'm not sure. So that's, and today is Friday night, so Saturday is, we're just on the curve into Saturday because it's the night time, and then Sunday's here, and then there's a bit of a jump to Monday, so Sunday's here for when I'd like to plan, but we're on the cave at the moment. So what I'm going to do is to help you view it from my perspective, I'm going to use this model of Clara to represent me, and I'll just adjust the camera so we can do a little trip through the months of the year, and I'll try and show you the days of the week again. Okay, back in a tick. Yeah. Okay, so the year, we start with January, and then we go forward, and then now it's August, so it's like being in a big hexagon-y, well, it's not really hexagon, it's sort of a weird big chunk. August is the biggest chunk of the year, and it's sort of like a stasis chunk. You go forward, you go August, and then it's like a stasis chunk of bubble. I don't really know how to explain it. And then diagonally, from this position diagonally, is we go up to September and December, and then it's December and Christmas, and then we have New Year. But so this is Christmas, and then the couple of days after Christmas Day, and then we run round and start on New Year's Day here. So this from December here to January here is you just run round back to January. I guess it's like a sort of a running track. And now I don't know how much this is synesthesia or how much you get from that, because you grow up with school and having a timetable layout. So I don't know how much this I don't know how much that influences your view of the months of the year for the rest of your life, because obviously when you're at school you're constantly looking at the week in a pattern or a layout, so I don't know how much that influences you for the rest of your life. So yeah, it's like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, then August, then September, and this is the direction I would face when I'm in that month, December, and then those days just after Christmas Day, and then I come back round, and and then I'm facing that way and start the year again. So it's like a circuit. So that's the months. And then, so I'll just re-explain the decades. So there's the 1900s, the end of the 1800s, so the end of the 1800s, 1900s, Titanic, the rest of the teens, and the sort of in like columns those are, until we get to the war. You got the 40s war, and then 50s, and then the 60s, and it's a bit whoa, a bit weird, and then the 70s, and then we go across to the 80s, and then the 90s, and then the noughties, and then into 2015, stasis bubble. So that's by number sequence. Now people, does this explain that some people are better at, that people who have this synesthesia are better at maths? I'm rubbish at maths. I'm rubbish at maths because like I find it hard, the numbers in my head, they just, when you try to do maths properly, the numbers just float about in my head and they don't form a. So what I have done for most of my mathematical academic life is draw dots on paper and figure out if I could arrange the dots to get that answer, and obviously use calculator a lot, but it's just creating, and that's, I guess that's how I do it in my head, is just create dots in my head and then figure out the pattern of the dots. Is pretty much how I do maths, but I find it really hard because when I have to divide or halve something, I just find I can do adding and subtracting up to like a certain amount, but I find division incredibly difficult. So no, having this like pattern of the months of the year and the decades and days of the week doesn't help me do like actual math problems at all. It just maths confuses me, but unless it's presented visually, because there was a good thing what happened, because I failed my maths in GCSE and had to do it again at sixth form, and I went to extra supplementary lessons on Mondays at 9 o'clock in the morning. But it was easier because the teacher would explain it and explain it and explain it till everybody in the class understood it. See, that was good. And then, but I don't know if there's simultaneous equations, but he came up with this technique and said, eyebrow, nose and mouth, which is joining the numbers, and then you do the operations with those numbers. I found that real. I got it straight away. I understood it. Like eyebrows, nose and mouth. We were creating faces. So I guess that helped a lot, and I'm not sure if that's related to my sort of because I do have very, very much of an interest in faces. I have this thing where I'll often see someone who's a stranger and say, that person's got a very familiar face, because I have a theory that there's only certain set amount of face components, and there's only certain there are only certain combinations of facial components. There's a set limit, so that's why a lot of people will look similar, because that person's got that nose. So a bit like Mr. Potato Head, I guess. those people that will have that nose, those people have those eyes, and then there's all these different combinations of faces, but it's a limited supply. So that's where a lot of people will look similar, and that's why I guess why I pick up on strangers and think that I've seen them before. So, and I guess that's how to make maths easier, is to make it into faces, because it's a lot easier then, and I just get it, rather than make it numbers, make it like faces. So the days of the week are, so we're on the curve of Friday into Saturday at the moment. So Saturday and Sunday are, the days of the week are squares basically. Saturday and Sunday are on the bottom, and then, you got Monday to Friday are on the top. So we start off on Mondays, which is a square, Tuesday is a square, Wednesday is the big bit, it's the middle, and then we've got Thursday a square, Friday a square, and then there's a gap, and then there's another square which is Saturday, and another square which is Sunday, and then there's another gap because there's squares when you go into Monday. So it's like, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So that's the days of the week. And then the cavemen are cavemen are all the way down there. They're far, far away that way, the cavemen. So that's my spatial sequence synesthesia. But as I said, it's really hard to describe how something feels if you can't inhabit the brain of the person who definitely feels that. So it's like, brains are difficult. So that's the synesthesia question. If anybody has any clarifying questions or any extra things they want to ask about this topic, put them in the comments section. So I hope this has been very interesting and educative. I like that word, educative. So thank you for watching. Yay!